Good afternoon, and I hope everyone is hearing me. And good morning, wherever you are. My name is Oliver Chinganya. I am the director at the Africa Center for Statistics at ECA. I will be chairing this session, but before we start the meeting, I would like to just lay down a few ground rules to enable us have a decent conversation through this virtual platform. So to start with, we are going to have a simultaneous interpretation in French and English. We are using this particular platform on the interpretation tool rather for the first time. So apologies if we're going to have rather experienced any glitches, but I hope we don't. So I would like to ask that depending on how you feel or which language you want to use, you could either click or you could either choose French or English. And depending on your preference. And I would like to ask really those that are going to be speaking to sort of moderate the speech to allow the interpretation. As I said, we have people that are sitting in different places to help us with the interpretation. So I think it's important that we sort of moderate our speech. Please keep the mic muted and the video closed except when you want to speak. I also want to request that when you want to make a request to speak, click the green hand icon to raise your hand. But again, here I want to caution that please don't worry if you don't see yourself on the all speakers list. What is important is that the chair at least will be able to see that you have raised your hand to be able to speak. And then when you are allowed to speak by the chair or the moderator will allow you, then you should be able to select video on your computer, so that you're able to stream both audio as well as video.
I cannot.
I also want to request that if you're not speaking, please, when you finish speaking, please disconnect the disconnect button to stop streaming. Red on your screen, you notice, or on your computer, you notice that red stands for streaming. That means you actually, you are conversing, you are speaking, and green means that you are not speaking. I also want to ask that if you want to chat or ask a question, you can also use the event chat, which is also available on the platform. You can provide comments and so forth. At the same time, if you're facing problems, with the platform, both perhaps with the video or the audio, I would ask that you use what we put in there, which is called restart all lines. That will be able to allow you to start all over again. I hope you've been able to hear me on that, and I would like to now formally start the meeting. His Excellency, the President Alpha Conde of the Republic of Guinea, His Excellency, the President Denis Sassou Nguesso of the Republic of Congo, Your Excellencies, ministers who are connected to this platform, the Under-Secretary General and the Executive Secretary of ECA, Dr. Vera Songwe, Mr. Holin Zwao, the Secretary General of ITU, Your Excellencies, ambassadors, permanent representatives to the ECA, representatives of different organizations, including and telephone companies. May I request colleagues that those who have the mics, unmuted, please to mute them so that we can have a decent conversation. Thank you. May I also give a special recognition to Smart Africa, with whom we are collaborating on this initiative. May I simply just say all protocols observed. On behalf of Dr. Vera Songwe, the Under-Secretary General and the Executive of ECA, let me welcome you to this virtual launch of the Africa Communication and Information Platform for Health and Economic Action. The COVID-19 pandemic is making a huge impact on the global community, the organization, and the general economy. Organizations, whether they are government, non-government, or private sector, are certainly engaged in the greatest experiment on how to leverage digital technologies to respond to this pandemic. On the other hand, ICTs are at the forefront to support the response to the COVID pandemic. While various measures, including quarantine, restriction of movements, etc., have been put in place, there is need for strategies and policies for medium and long-term socioeconomic impact for COVID-19. There is need for a coordinated effort at the regional and international level to normalize and restart the economies. Information and actionable data And I want to stress here, actionable data are important for evidence-based strategic planning and policy actions. There is therefore an urgent need to put in place a more effective two-way information communication channel available and accessible to the majority of the people. This is the reason why the Africa Communication and Information Platform for the Health and Economic Action is being launched today. The platform will provide intelligent information, including user-generated survey data and actionable health and economic insights to the national COVID-19 task forces, in some cases named as surveillance teams, respective ministries, as well as international organizations. Your Excellencies, without further ado, I would like now to call upon Ms. Zay, who is going to moderate the first and second sessions before handing over to the Executive Secretary of ECA, who is going to moderate the session with the head of state. Zay, please, you take the floor.
Thank you so much, Oliver. Your Excellencies, honorable ministers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the Africa Communications Information Platform is truly an exciting initiative. This is something that is going to provide intelligent information that can be used to address needs in real time. As Oliver was saying, major mobile networks on the continent, such as MTN, Vodacom, Airtel, and Orange, are all coming together to provide a free-to-use service that will be using a combination of text and voice interactions that will be allowing this two-way communication between users and authorities. It is going to offer public health advice as well as generate the health and economic survey data in order to inform effective decision-making, as well as allocation of resources to mitigate the impact of COVID-19 in Africa. What's exciting here also is the numbers. The service could potentially reach 600 million people across the continent, and it represents a mixture of high and low tech, and in order to take the practical advantages of the richness of data that will be generated in this initiative, and even by simple 2G phones. So to open this event, it's my pleasure to invite Mr. Lassina Kone, the CEO of Smart Africa, to say a few words. Mr. Kone. You have the floor, Mr. Kone. Okay, we are trying to establish contact with Mr. Kone, and
well, you need to open his mic. His mic is closed, so somebody needs to open the mic.
To open the mic.
My audio and my video are also muted. Can I take control of my audio and my video?
I think the technical team should be able to help with that. Can the technical team advise whether Mr. Kone is connected, please?
He is connected, but he cannot speak because his mic is closed. He's texting in to say that we need to open his mic.
Yes, we have already given the floor to Mr. Lassina.
Yeah, can you open my video? You guys don't over control us. Butena also cannot speak and she cannot hear. Can you open her mic and her video? And give me control of my camera as well.
You have full control over yours.
I don't. I'm pressing it and it's not going anywhere. Neither my mic nor my audio.
Vera, can you press the green button that raises your hand? If everybody can do that, then the technical operator will be able to
I've done
activate
that.
both. So on the top right hand, there's a green hand. If everybody could do that.
Mr. Lassina
we would be
Kone just
able to,
wrote, now my
establish
video and audio are
contact.
muted.
Oh my God. Emmanuel, please, can we assist Mr. Kone, please?
Yes, yes, Zane.
Thank you. So as we're trying to establish these technical glitches here, and our apologies for that, we will ensure we establish the video and audio contact. But I just want to sort of talk a little bit more about what this groundbreaking platform can actually do. Like I said, it will provide more than 600 million users across the continent with some of the latest public health advice. The goal here is also to be able to furnish the national and the regional COVID task forces with user-generated survey data and actionable economic and health insights. The strategy here is that if we can improve national data and statistics, this platform is going to be able to allow authorities across the continent to look at the data and better analyze the pandemic-related problems, as well as implement the appropriate responses. So we will be able to see specific health clusters that are potential COVID clusters, as well as be able to identify some of the economic issues and communities and even individuals that need help. So the platform essentially allows these task forces to look at that data and then deploy very specific health and economic resources to mitigate the pandemic's impact. The beauty about this is that it's quite robust and it's easy to use because the platform itself uses a mixture of text as well as voice operated menus. As I had mentioned, it's free to use, and the platform essentially has been tested and developed by the Economic Commission for Africa, as well as with 4 major mobile networks and a data integrator. So if I was getting a bit more granular here, the platform harnesses both narrowband channels using a combination of text.
I don't know if
USSD,
the technical moderator, sorry Zain, I don't know if
IVR.
we all need to go out and come back in, or we need to stay in. I don't know. Can you tell us what we need to do?
Manuel?
Manuel, do we all need to check out and then come back in so you give us access to our voice and video?
Hey, yes. We have limited participants being able to speak at the same time. So we allow based on a request, and it should be maximum 4 people that have audio and video at the same time. That's the platform's.
Okay. In that case, why don't we have the moderator and the next speaker to be on video, and the executive secretary. And since I'm not speaking now, maybe I could put up the video and allow the moderator and the other speakers to put their video on. I'm just going to shut my. Yeah.
So wanted to be on standby to make his remarks.
Okay.
Oh, I can't even disable my camera, so. Okay.
Well, as we continue to try and establish this connection, it appears I'm the only one in the room. Oh, good. Somebody, you can all hear me. So this is the first time we're using this particular platform, and it's a great platform because it has some interpreting capability. But obviously, we're trying to work out some kinks here. Now, I know we're establishing contact with all our guests, and Dr. Songwe has also rejoined us. So we ask for your patience here a little bit as we try and iron out some of these kinks. I was saying, as everyone is coming back in, is that what's really cool about this is that you've got narrowband and broadband sides here, right? You've got the narrowband side of the platform that's using a combination of text, that's USSD, and voice interactions as well, IVR. And then on the broadband side, the platform uses public data from digital channels, including online and social media. So the combined force of the data that can be generated here will be quite powerful because you're using mobile narrowband and broadband in order to reach 3G smartphone users as well as mobile subscribers with earlier generation 2G handsets, so feature phones. So that in a nutshell is what is the capability of this platform. And I see we have Mr. Lassina Kone, the CEO of Smart Africa, here with us. With apologies for this, but we have you now, and that's what matters. Please, you have the floor, and we're very excited that you're here. So please share with us your comments.
Thank you very much. I know technology, does not always, work as we actually anticipate or expect. Excellency, Head of the State, honorable ministers on the call, and distinguished delegates, and my dear sister, Dr. Songwe. It's a really honor for me to join you today for the launch of the African Communication Information Platform for Health and Economic Action Initiative, which has put in place to support a strong and effective response to the COVID-19 pandemic. First of all, I would like to share my deepest appreciation to my sister, Dr. the Undersecretary General of the United Nations and Executive Secretary of the Economic Commission for Africa, for this initiative and her personal leadership to drive this all-inclusive initiative. On 11 March 2020, health organizations declared COVID-19 as a pandemic. 2 weeks later, 42 African nations had about 1,200 infections and 37 deaths. Since then, according to the Africa CDC recent data, the number have grown exponentially to over 318,000 cases and 8,300 deaths in a relatively short space of time. This health crisis has fast-tracked digital transformation initiatives we have motivated and have been working on for a long time. And I am glad, along with you today, to witness the launch of the African Communication Information Platform for Health and Economic Actions, which is one of the digital transformation initiatives that we believe will improve the continent. At Smart Africa, we have taken concrete actions to fight the COVID-19 pandemic, while involving our Council of African Regulators, our Council of ICT Ministers, led by Minister Diaby of Guinea, and our member states overall. Firstly, Africa Secretariat engaged with the Council of Regulators to support a range of proposed recommendations named the COVID-19 March 2020, which were shared with the member country, broadband commissions, ITU, and the African Union. Secondly, the Smart Africa Secretariat launched an initiative to coordinate an African response powered by technology to combat the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic by assisting our member states in identifying, tracking, and containing COVID-19 patients, taking into account the different technological and socio-cultural diversity across the continent. Third, on May 11, 2020, we convened an extraordinary meeting with the Council of ICT Ministers of the Smart Africa Alliance. The outcome of the Council was to assess all the current technology solutions being deployed in various countries in Africa and share the best practice among ourselves in an harmonized way. As we are currently at an advanced development stage of the assessment, we have received response from several African member states on the benchmarking survey on the various initiatives that countries have individually been utilizing to combat COVID-19 pandemic. Among them, DRC, Burkina Faso, Chad, Cote d'Ivoire, Djibouti, Gabon, Morocco, Tunisia, just to list a few. Given the reach of this initiative by the nature of its private and public players, it is very clear that a collaboration between a UN agency such as UNECA and the major mobile operators on the continent, including companies such as MTN, Vodacom, Airtel, Ethio Telecom, Safaricom, and Orange, and reaching close to 600 million device owners on our continent, this platform indeed will be an unprecedented single platform reaching our population if implemented in an harmonized way by including all the stakeholders, such as African regulators and government agencies on the front line, as well as the population. Therefore, we strongly believe that the Africa Communication and Information Platform would fit to the puzzle that we have all been looking for to fight the unprecedented virus that has made our fast-growing economy in Africa pause for the past 4 months. The year 2020 should be the year we embrace and accelerate collaboration through digital transformation. It should go down in the history as a technological, health, and economic turning point for Africa. Once again, thank you for the invitation to be part of this launch. Smart Africa, we look forward to working together in supporting and operationalizing this platform. I thank you very much for your kind attention.
A good fit to the puzzle to fight COVID. Very, very nicely put. We greatly appreciate that and your thoughts, Mr. Lassina Kone, the CEO of Smart Africa. Thank you so much. I'd like to call upon Ms. Buthena Guermazi, the Global Director for the Digital Development Global Practice, World Bank for Africa. Please say a few words. Welcome.
Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. It gives me a great pleasure to participate on behalf of Mr. Ghanem, the Vice President of Africa in the World Bank, in the launch of the African Communication and Information Platform. This is a very timely initiative based on strong collaboration between African governments and the private sector and UNECA, and showing clearly that coping with COVID-19 requires strong linkages between the public and the private sectors. We see the evidence of this today. In the battle against COVID-19, digital technologies have been called the hidden hero and the sector that came to the rescue. They are saving lives, helping governments, individuals, and businesses cope with the social distancing and ensuring business continuity and preventing service interruption. While the digital development community did not wait for this crisis to see the importance of digital in accelerating development, this unprecedented situation has definitely ended the narrative around digital as an accessory. It is now crystal clear for all decision makers that digital is an essential infrastructure for our modern societies. The COVID-19 crisis has put governments, economies, and health systems under immense pressure all over the world. The pandemic also showed us, without any doubt, the critical importance that data can play to support countries cope with the pandemic, respond to it, and recover from it. As countries around the world battle the new coronavirus pandemic, the importance of sharing data, using it effectively, has never been more apparent. We know today that data collection and analysis tools for diagnostics, for detection, for prediction are of critical importance for responding intelligently to this crisis and preventing more lives from being lost. To take advantage of the power of connectivity and the power of data, countries need to have the requisite infrastructure and foundations to have access to data, systematic analysis of these data, production of actionable statistics and analysis to guide policymakers on maximizing the use of these analytics for informing policies. It is heartening to see the speed with which the continent reacted to create this platform, bringing together in an unprecedented manner the major mobile operators on the continent, governments, the UN, stakeholders, to take advantage of mobile big data analytics. We know that accurate and up-to-date information on aggregated, anonymized mobility patterns could clearly be useful for monitoring, predicting outbreaks, planning future resources. And of course, we all know appropriate data anonymization and other relevant privacy measures are important to be carefully considered. Actionable data are important for an evidence-based strategic planning and policy actions, not only for government, but also for stakeholders, international development organizations, regional organizations, the public, stakeholders, and the private, as we all need to join forces to address the numerous challenges that the pandemic is imposing on people, economies, and societies. As we move to the recovery phase, with countries slowly and carefully reopening, it is important to focus on strengthening digital development and resilience and continue leveraging the power of data that this tool will help us achieve in order to build back better. Thank you again for the opportunity to participate with you in the launch of this platform, to say a few words, and I'm really looking forward to the presentation and to the discussion. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The importance of sharing data and using it effectively has never been more important. Strong words there, Ms. Buthaina Gormazi. Thank you so much. Such a pleasure to have you here as well. I also liked how you put it when you said digital technologies are called hidden heroes. And with that, I would like to introduce our digital heroine, who really has been a driving force behind this initiative and has brought us to where we are today. I'd like to introduce Dr. Vera Songwe, the UN Undersecretary General and Executive Secretary for the Economic Commission for Africa, to say a few words. Dr. Songwe.
I am unmuting myself. No, I am unmuted. Thank you so very much, Zain. Let me start, first of all, by saying bonjour, bonsoir, bon après-midi à tout le monde qui nous rejoint aujourd'hui. Je veux juste dire quelques mots en français pour vous remercier énormément pour votre présence ici, pour dire qu'aujourd'hui, je crois que nous sommes en train de vivre un moment inédit sur le continent, un moment inédit, je pense, au fait, dans le monde de télécommunications avec ce que nous sommes en train de lancer, cette plateforme innovatrice. Donc, Excellence, Monsieur le Ministre, Madame les Ministres, tous les régulateurs, mon cher collègue de ITU, évidemment l'Union africaine, la Banque mondiale représentée ici par Buthaina, avec laquelle on a beaucoup travaillé pour arriver ici. Chaque fois que je vois Buthaina, je sais qu'on est en train de parler de ICT. Mais je pense plus important, je veux vraiment remercier les opérateurs de télécom qui sont avec nous, qui ont été avec nous dès le début de cette initiative. et qui ont vraiment fait, si aujourd'hui nous sommes ici, c'est vraiment grâce à MTN, Airtel, Orange et Vodacom qui ont pris le premier cri quand nous avons dit on ne peut pas faire ça sans vous et qui ont dit nous allons prendre le leadership pour rassembler nos collègues, pour revenir autour de nous. Donc je veux vraiment d'abord commencer par faire cette appréciation et remercier tout ce monde et évidemment le staff de ACIP qui nous a beaucoup aidés. The coronavirus infections continue to rise across the continent, and it's impacting service delivery and capacity of both the public sector and the private sector in an unprecedented manner. For unprecedented crises, we need unprecedented solutions, and I think that's why we're here today. We have an unprecedented solution with a collaboration that was never before thought about. Just 2 months ago, I don't think we would have ever thought that we could bring all the telecom or the biggest 5 telecom operators on the continent together, get regulators within a space of 2-3 weeks. And I must thank all the telecom regulators to put in place the right regulation that will allow for us to be here with you today. Ministers of Finance that were waiving fees, ministers of ICT that decided that this was the platform that we needed. And I'm saying all this just to make you see the communications and the collaboration that was needed for us to come here today. But it was because we were in an unprecedented crisis. With over 300,000 confirmed cases and over 8,000 deaths on the continent, Africa is suffering from the coronavirus. But more than the health impact, we have an economic impact. We are reeling, our economies are under pressure because of the economic lockdowns. An ECA report showed that we are losing over $65 billion a month from lockdowns. We cannot afford it. But more importantly, 70% of our SMEs are also now closed and do not have jobs. And this is why we thought of a platform like this as an important component of the solution, but also of the Build Back Better for this crisis. We need to get to everybody that needs assistance. We need to understand the economic impacts. We need to understand the health impacts of this crisis so that policymakers, particularly in an era of scarce resources, can make the right decisions. However, we know that only 17.8% of the households on the continent have internet access, and the levels of household access to computers is even lower at 10%. So we needed to find some creative and innovative solution to be able to reach everybody. We talk about ICT and we talk about technology, but we also need to realize that we still have some constraints. And I think many of you who have been talking with us, particularly the youth, in the last 2-3 weeks have been hearing us say, go out there and tell your leaders that we must increase broadband, we must increase bandwidth. Our bandwidth on the continent is only 31 kbytes per internet user. It is very small. Africa lags behind the whole world on internet access. We need to do more, we need to do better. The biggest barrier, however, is cost. In an era of a crisis, with the economic crisis, the pandemic, it is even more difficult for people to spend the little resources they have to pay for access. In countries like Zimbabwe, in countries like Equatorial Guinea, our access, the cost is quite high, and we hope that we can bring it down. In Sudan and the Democratic Republic of Congo, for example, you pay less than $1.68 per gigabyte. This means that, you know, it's very, very difficult to be able to even get the data, receive it, and store it. The ECA's Digital Center of Excellence, and I want to thank my colleagues. I cannot thank them enough because this is so exciting when we see what we have done here today. And it is because they believed in the power and the possibility of a center of excellence. When we say excellence, I think Africa from Mr. Kone is getting smarter. This is an example of a smart Africa providing a smart solution for an unprecedented crisis. And I think that what we have done today is exactly that. With MTN, Orange, Airtel, and others, we've developed this Africa Communications and Information Platform to particularly curate health and information and economic data. Of course, we're doing health and economic data today, but we can do a lot more, and hopefully that our policymakers can use it for a lot more things. The background is that with mobile networks, we can reach about 900 million people on the continent today, with more than 600 million unique users. So we have the possibility probably on this platform to get to somewhere between 600 to 830 million users. In a population of 1.2 billion, we will probably be the platform that can reach most Africans at the same time. And I think this is the beauty of this platform. 81.4% of Africa's population at the peak of this platform will be covered. 36 member states have already joined us, and we thank all of them. 714 million mobile subscriptions have been reached, 85.5% of the total mobile subscriptions on the continent. I mean, this is amazing. As I talk about it, I get even more excited about the possibilities of the solutions that we can bring and use on this platform. We would never have been able to do it without ITU, without Smart Africa, African Union, the World Bank, WEF, WHO, that allowed us also to work together with them to understand how and what kind of health data was needed. Of course, we have artificial intelligence on the platform. We have a number of providers. But I think going forward, and for the youth on this platform, we are going to need you youth in each country to be able to now come together and work with us to design artificial intelligence systems and platforms that we can curate to get better data out of it. So again, this is not just a platform that we have put together that you can use, but it's a platform we hope that can help you develop other applications, create more jobs for yourselves, but give us a sense of the direction of policy that needs to be made, particularly to take care of, for example, the informal sector. We have talked a lot about the informal sector. I am quoted as saying that we need to stop romanticizing the informal sector, identify them, ensure that they become part and parcel of an active economic tissue on our continent. We hope that with this platform, we will be able to do that. Je vous remercie énormément. Je pense, comme je vous ai dit, c'est une plateforme sur laquelle nous avons à peu près 81% de la population africaine qui est contenue. Nous avons 36 États membres qui sont sur cette plateforme, 714 millions de subscriptions qui sont sur la plateforme, et 85% de tout le network mobile de l'Afrique est sur cette plateforme. Donc, je voulais vraiment vous remercier pour vous dire ça. C'est un Afrique qui est smart, un Afrique qui fait quelque chose qui n'a pas été fait nulle part dans le monde. Et nous pensons qu'avec ces innovations, nous sommes en train de démontrer que l'excellence, ça se trouve en Afrique, l'innovation, ça se trouve en Afrique. Mais surtout, avec cette excellence et ces innovations, nous pouvons trouver probablement des solutions pour les problèmes de l'économie et de la santé dont nous gérons aujourd'hui. Je vous remercie pour votre attention. So we lost Zain.
I think we've lost Zain. She just sent a message that she's lost connection. She'll come back. Thank you very much, Executive Secretary, and the others that have spoken before you for those remarks that sort of set the scene for the discussion. We are now supposed to be presented with the platform itself to have insights of what this platform is all about. And I will be making that presentation myself. I hope you're able to see the screen.
Yes, I can see it.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so just to start the conversation is shown on the screen, and also picking up on what has been said already. Colleagues, I need to move the screen. My colleagues, if the technicians, please, if you could just allow me to move it. Thank you. Yes, just to start the conversation and looking up what has been discussed, I think we've heard a lot that the COVID itself has, created a lot of devastation across the continent, both in terms of the socio-economic activities in all countries. We have seen a rapid increase of the virus, and this is likely to increase the health crisis, and which may lead also into economic crisis and also social crisis. As we have heard from the Executive Secretary, right now, as of today, we're actually talking about 306 infections across the continent. And already the continent is experiencing an overwhelming economic and social impact responding to the virus. Now, just to give a bit of background on the platform itself. So this initiative is actually aimed at enhancing the capability of governments across the African continent to communicate and interact with the citizenry in mitigating and managing the impact of COVID-19. We have seen the impact of this, and it requires that we come up with urgent interventions that will be able to address the COVID. And therefore, the Africa Communication and Information Platform for Health and Economic Action response will complement the existing work, and also which is also being planned by the government as well as the private sector. So the platform has 3 components. One is a massive online digital data set that you've already heard from the speakers, which will cover the public information on health, economy, and the livelihood of people, including food security. The second one, it does incorporate the artificial intelligence engine that explores, identifies, and displays trends, information, and insights, and the answers to key questions which can determine where health intervention should be made and how economic resources should be deployed in the country. The third one is an inbound, unstructured, supplementary service data, as well as the interactive voice response communication tool, which customizes content for each country and allows governments to conduct needs assessment, need to be on health, on food, and economic, as well as measure the efficacy of current community communication to supplement what is required in terms of screening of the populations. So really, as you have heard, this is a true platform whose ability is to integrate both online and broadband and mobile information, as well as to facilitate the collaboration across the mobile network operators in the country. Now, the center, as we know in most of the countries, we do have a center that sort of coordinates the process and where the decision making is made. It could be that it could be from the National COVID Task Force itself or from the ministries where it makes the decisions. And therefore, there's several other elements in this particular platform in terms of data collection, which comes from the households and individuals through the various services that are provided, and also the analytics that are made. It's then properly coordinated to be able to inform the task force at country level and be able to make the decision making that is required and ensure that in all this is a coordinated effort, not only to inform the country, but also the other agencies that are part of the, part and parcel in providing the necessary support at country, such as the African Union, Africa CDC, the ECA itself, and many other multilateral development organizations that are also providing support at country level. So what will this platform be doing? First of all, it is a platform that provides communication and information for action and supports broad information across the country, in ensuring that the information is properly gathered and is communicated in a manner that is required. The second part is also a platform that's going to provide information gathering, both broadband, online, social media, as well as the narrowband from the mobile USD and also the IVR, as we also heard from our moderator. It's also a platform that allows communication, in other words, targeting communication through the USSD as well as the IVR menu for both health and other information. Like the executive secretary say that it can be used for other things, but for now, of course, we're targeting health, but it could be also be used for other things. And then the platform also plays a very key role in the decision-making processes in providing the analytics and recommendations that are required by government in surveillance forces for COVID, to the ministries that are also part of it, and other regional organizations to be able to make informed decisions based on the information that's been collected. Now, when you look at the population, I mean, the continent has a population of 1.3 billion. And of that, as we've heard from the various speakers, is that the idea is to reach those that are accessible to mobile. At the moment, we're targeting 600 plus million population on the continent that will have access to that. And with although there's a lot of variation in terms of availability of smartphones on the continent, on average, really, 23% of the population will have access to that. So basically, to be using both digital and narrowband channels that to be able to access or rather reach the 600 million plus people on the continent. Now, how will this platform be able to deliver? First of all, it's going to deliver industrial collaboration to build what one would call fit for purpose solution. In other words, tested solutions. That's what it's going to be providing. It's going to provide free USSD and IVR platforms for information gathering and communication, free out-of-bound SMS to drive awareness and the communication initiatives, which is very critical for informing the public in terms of what is going on. And of course, the final one, the intermediary access of the IPI to platform information integration on online channels. Now, so far, the idea is that we want to target 36 countries overall. In other words, where we have already mobile operators who are partnering already part of this. As you can see from the screen, MTN is already in 16 countries. Orange is in 15 countries. Airtel is also in in a number of those countries. And all these are going to be providing the support to the countries. We also have several other countries that have lined up wanting to join the initiative as well. Now, what is ECA, or rather, what is this initiative requesting the governments and regulators to do? First of all, we're looking forward to to have approval of the mobile operators authorizing the necessary requirements to support the COVID initiative itself, to ensure that there are unified toll-free SMS codes. There's a single nationwide multi-operator USSD stream. There's a free interactive voice response service. There's authority to collect information, and also that there's authority to transmit information for processing, as well as to ensure that we have the right analytics and provides the necessary insights in the data that's being collected and also being transmitted elsewhere. Now, where do we go from here? The design of the platform is done, and this is why today we've been able to launch it, or rather it will be launched today. The concept in terms of testing to make sure that it works, that has been done. The next part that needs to be finalized is the issue of ensuring that we have the regulation or the regulatory approval made at country level to make sure the operators are given that, and then the mobile operators to be able to deploy and begin to collect the information that is required. So those are the few things that I also wanted just to highlight in terms of the insights about the platform itself. And I think we'll leave that for further discussion, and that is going to be followed by the next speakers. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Oliver, for that, and giving us a succinct explanation of how this is going to work and the context in which you've been operating there too. What it really does here is capture, as Dr. Songwe said earlier, the power of possibility. This is a smart solution. This is an unprecedented solution. And as she said, this is a platform that has the ability to reach the most Africans at one time. And the beauty is that this was pulled off in about 2 months. So thank you very much for giving us that explanation, Oliver. We appreciate it. I would like to move on to the next part of this conversation and turn to panelists for a discussion on what we just saw. And I'd like to just respectfully ask everyone if you could keep your contributions to 2 minutes each so that we can hear from everyone here. There's a lot to say, a lot to ask. And so we want to make sure we get everybody's thoughts and opinions in on this. I'd like to start by inviting Ms. Ndeye Tike Ndaye, the Minister of Digital Economy and Telecommunications of Senegal, to start off here. And I'd like to just make this more of a conversation, actually, if that's okay, and start by asking you, how would Senegal leverage this platform? How would this platform help shape Senegal's digital strategies?
Merci beaucoup. Vous me permettrez d'abord de vous saluer, les ministres, Mesdames les ministres et messieurs les ministres qui participent à ce panel, et de saluer Madame la secrétaire exécutive de la CIA, Monsieur Koné aussi, et l'ensemble des panélistes. De dire tout le plaisir que j'ai de participer à ce panel qui a pour objet aujourd'hui de lancer le lancement virtuel de la plateforme africaine de communication et d'information pour la santé et l'action économique. Je trouve que ce panel est opportun aujourd'hui et je voudrais vous féliciter de l'avoir initié. Important en ce sens que nous sommes en train de vivre une catastrophe, je dirais, humanitaire sans précédent, qui a touché presque tous les pays du monde. Vous l'avez dit tantôt, le 11 mars c'est le 11 mars que l'OMS a déclaré, je pense, cette pandémie de la COVID-19. Mais je voudrais, avant d'aller dans le fond du sujet, vous dire ce que le Sénégal a fait. Chez nous, le premier cas a été déclaré le 2 mars. Et c'est le 2 mars que le conseil présidentiel a été organisé par son Excellence M. Macky Sall, le président de la République du Sénégal. Et depuis, il y a eu plusieurs conseils présidentiels et on a eu aussi des réunions au niveau du conseil des ministres qui sont uniquement consacrées à la pandémie. Quelles sont les mesures qui ont été prises? Nous avons d'abord pris des mesures d'ordre sanitaire élargies, contenues dans le plan qui a été validé le même jour, où les ressources ont été mobilisées pour un montant de 1,4 milliard de francs CFA. Et ça a été. Je voudrais vous parler aussi des autres mesures, entre autres restrictives, qui ont eu lieu au niveau de la fermeture des frontières, des écoles, l'interdiction de voyager, et ainsi de suite, et surtout, je pense, la mise en place et l'adoption de mesures barrières. Malgré tout ça, nous avons vu une augmentation quand même si c'est contrôlé. Plusieurs mesures ont été faites. Mais, vous l'avez dit tantôt, c'est des mesures sanitaires, ou en tout cas, la maladie a eu des conséquences au plan économique et social dans tous les pays du monde, avec le corollaire de perte d'emploi, mais aussi avec des inquiétudes au plan je dirais, l'alimentation des populations les plus vulnérables. C'est ainsi que le président de la République, M. Macky Sall, a fait élaborer un programme de résilience économique et sociale qui a permis de prendre en considération l'aspect sanitaire d'abord, en affectant à ce volet 50 milliards de francs CFA. Il ne s'est pas arrêté à cet aspect sanitaire. Nous avons pris en considération l'alimentation des populations touchées, je l'ai dit, pour une enveloppe de 69 milliards de francs CFA. Aussi, pour venir à bout de la souffrance des populations qui n'ont pas pu travailler, des mesures sociales ont été prises au niveau de la prise en charge des factures d'électricité pour une enveloppe de 15 milliards de francs CFA, des factures d'eau pour une enveloppe de 3 milliards de francs CFA. Les Sénégalais qui sont à l'extérieur ont été pris en considération, 12 milliards 500 millions de francs CFA. Ensuite, il y a eu les industries, ou en tout cas au plan économique, les entreprises. D'abord, il a été question d'éponger la dette interne intérieure pour permettre aux entreprises de souffrir. Et ça à hauteur de 302 milliards de francs CFA. Il fallait aussi soutenir les entreprises pour qu'elles aient des moyens de financement dans le fonds de mouvement. Une enveloppe de 200 milliards de francs CFA a été mise à leur disposition. Ainsi de suite. Il y a eu beaucoup de mesures à ce niveau. Je n'ai cité que quelques-unes. Aujourd'hui, nous allons vers l'assouplissement. Mais malgré tout ça, nous nous efforçons de faire en sorte qu'il n'y ait pas de relâchement. Mais dans tout cela, qu'a fait l'écosystème du numérique? Je voudrais à ce niveau insister. Je voudrais saluer la participation de l'écosystème du numérique au Sénégal, qui, pour une alliance, je dirais, pour notre personne, s'est mobilisée pour participer à l'élan de cette. D'abord, dans la continuité du travail. Dans la continuité du travail, nous avons pu, avec l'Agence de l'informatique de l'État, arriver à continuer de travailler dans le domaine de l'administration. Mais dans le domaine du secteur privé, et entre les deux, je veux dire que les autres secteurs ont joué un grand rôle à ce niveau pour permettre la continuité du travail. Ils ne sont pas limités à ce niveau parce qu'il y a eu une contribution en numéraire à autour de 520 millions de francs CFA, une contribution en nature, une contribution en service. Globalement, nous sommes arrivés à plus de 4 milliards de francs CFA. Mais il y a eu quelque chose de très important, c'est-à-dire la riposte digitale. Cette riposte digitale a été d'une grande utilité. Parce qu'il y a eu cette mobilisation du secteur privé autour de l'administration. Le secteur privé n'a ménagé aucun effort, mais nous avons aussi les autres démembrements de l'État.
Madame la ministre.
Peut-être au niveau de la communication, je termine, la communication et au niveau de l'aide à la décision et à la gestion de la pandémie par des solutions digitales. Voilà.
Madame la ministre.
Mais je voudrais demander une question avant de rendre la parole. C'est de mettre l'accent sur ce qui a été fait au niveau national en termes de plateforme. Vous demandez de bien vouloir axer les initiatives nationales à cette plateforme qui est une plateforme africaine. Je vous remercie.
Merci, Madame la Minister. Appreciate your comments. I would like to invite Madame Lydia Mikolo, Minister of Health for the Republic of Congo, to say to add to this. And actually, if I may request again, if you could keep your answers a little bit shorter, because we have a lot of people that we would like to get to. I'd be very grateful, Madame Mikolo. My question to you is,
vous m'entendez?
Based on what you've heard, how would the national health system be able to leverage this platform? Madame Mikolo, you have the floor.
Oui, je voudrais d'abord, avant tout propos, saluer Madame. Est-ce que vous m'entendez? Vous me recevez? Je voudrais avant tout propos remercier la commission.
On vous entend.
Ah, super, ok. Mesdames et messieurs les membres du gouvernement, chers collègues, Madame la secrétaire exécutive de la Commission économique des Nations Unies pour l'Afrique, honorables invités, Madame la modératrice, je voudrais avant tout propos remercier la Commission économique des Nations Unies pour l'Afrique pour l'organisation de cette activité consacrée à apporter des réponses à la lutte contre la COVID-19 à travers l'implémentation de la plateforme africaine de communication et de l'information pour la santé et l'action économique afin d'unifier l'Afrique dans la riposte contre cette pandémie. Mesdames et messieurs, en mettant en place la plateforme africaine en partenariat avec les principaux opérateurs de réseaux mobiles, MTN, Vodacom, Airtel, Orange, pour ne citer que ces opérateurs, nos pays pourront enfin bénéficier, grâce à l'intelligence artificielle, des avancées technologiques de pointe pour améliorer d'une part notre capacité de collecte et d'analyse des données sur la pandémie et d'autre part l'interaction entre les gouvernements et les centres de recherche avec les citoyens. Les réponses appropriées attendues aideraient, j'en suis persuadé, à éliminer les répercussions sanitaires et économiques de la pandémie afin de mieux contrôler la situation socio-économique plus large des populations cibles. L'intelligence artificielle a déjà joué un rôle important à chaque étape de la lutte contre la COVID-19 dans les domaines des applications immédiates sur le traitement des personnes infectées. Il existe des préoccupations éthiques lors de l'utilisation des technologies de l'intelligence artificielle pour la lutte contre la COVID-19, telles les questions de responsabilité, de confidentialité, de protection de données à caractère personnel. Aussi, ne suffirait-il pas seulement à nos pays d'héberger la plateforme, mais également de l'encadrer juridiquement par des textes coercitifs adossés sur des bases indispensables à l'adoption de l'intelligence artificielle pour les soins de santé en Afrique. En ce qui concerne mon pays, le président de la République, son Excellence M. Denis Sassou Nguesso, a fait du numérique un axe majeur de son engagement. Il a promulgué à cet effet un ensemble de textes
visant aussi bien à sécuriser nos systèmes d'information qu'à protéger les libertés individuelles dans l'espace numérique. Je peux citer entre autres les lois relatives aux transactions électroniques, la loi portant protection des données à caractère personnel, la loi portant création de l'Agence nationale de sécurité des systèmes d'information, la loi relative à la cybersécurité, la loi portant lutte contre la cybercriminalité. Deux autres projets de texte en cours d'examen paracheveront la mise en œuvre du cadre juridique et institutionnel national. Il s'agit de la Convention de Malabo, dite Convention de l'Union africaine sur la cybercriminalité et la protection des données à caractère personnel, dite Convention de Malabo, et la Convention de Budapest de l'Union européenne sur la cybercriminalité. Par ailleurs, pour ce qui concerne encore le Congo, en collaboration avec le Programme des Nations Unies pour le développement, le ministère dont j'ai la charge a contribué déjà à la mise en place d'une plateforme numérique chargée de sensibiliser les populations sur des mesures barrières. Mesdames et messieurs, chers collègues, en répondant à l'invitation de la Commission économique des Nations Unies pour l'Afrique, vous témoignez à suffisance du grand intérêt que nos États accordent au nouveau mode de gestion numérique de la lutte contre la COVID-19. Nous comptons ensemble sur les recommandations éclairées et pertinentes pour conduire à bon port le projet à l'échelle continentale. Pour terminer mon propos, je voudrais une fois de plus remercier Madame Songwe, secrétaire générale adjointe des Nations Unies et secrétaire exécutif de la Commission économique pour l'Afrique, pour son accompagnement et surtout pour avoir choisi la République du Congo comme l'un des pays pilotes pour le lancement des tests 5G. Et je vous réitère ici, Madame, les remerciements du gouvernement congolais. Donc, c'est donc fort de cette conviction que je souhaite plein succès à nos travaux et le Congo pourra bénéficier évidemment de cette plateforme pour que nous puissions ensemble avoir un même langage et bouter hors de notre continent cette pandémie qu'est le Covid-19. Merci.
Merci. Thank you very much, Mr. Leon Justy-Bombo, for your words. We appreciate it greatly. I'm being asked to invite Mr. Mustafa Maima Diaby, the Minister of Post, Telecommunications and Digital Economy for Guinea. If you are with us, I would like you to address from your point of view how you see the potential of leveraging this platform's data asset. Mr. Diaby?
Just go with your screen.
Mm-hmm. Madame Linette, I believe you are with us, or were with us. Perhaps we could go to you.
Oui, je vous entends.
Okay. Oh, good. There you are. There you are. Are you able to?
Thank you very much, Madame la secrétaire exécutive de la CERA, Excellences, Mesdames, Messieurs les ministres, représentants des pays, distingués participants, Mesdames et Messieurs, c'est un grand honneur pour moi de prendre la parole au lancement officiel de la plateforme africaine d'information pour la santé et l'action économique. La pandémie du Covid-19, au-delà des problématiques sanitaires, a des impacts socio-économiques notables qui nécessitent des interventions urgentes, efficaces et efficientes. Et c'est à ce titre que la plateforme africaine de communication et d'information dont la mise en œuvre consiste à apporter une réponse concrète à la pandémie du Covid-19 contribuera de manière spécifique à soutenir le travail louable de planification qui est déjà en cours par les différents gouvernements en collaboration avec le secteur privé. C'est l'occasion pour moi d'exprimer la profonde gratitude au nom du gouvernement camerounais à Madame la secrétaire exécutive, Madame Vera Songhé et toute son équipe pour le soutien accordé aux États africains dans la lutte contre cette pandémie. Pour ce qui est de la stratégie gouvernementale contre la propagation de cette pandémie au Cameroun, un plan de riposte instruit par le chef de l'État, son Excellence M. Paul Biya, et piloté par le Premier ministre chef du gouvernement, est en cours de mise en œuvre. Et le Cameroun bénéficie dans ce cadre de l'appui de l'Organisation mondiale de la santé, notamment sur des questions diverses. Mais, à cause du temps, je reviens pour ce qui est du secteur des TIC. Au Cameroun, le gouvernement a mis en place une équipe de veille digitale pour s'assurer de la continuité et de la qualité de services de communication électronique. Cette équipe est présidée par mon département ministériel et est constituée des principaux acteurs. Tous les opérateurs de téléphonie mobile, les régulateurs en sont membres. Et à ce jour, les résolutions qui ont été prises dans le cadre de cette concertation ont permis d'avoir une baisse considérable du coût de la bande passante ainsi que la mise en place d'un plan de basculement du trafic des opérateurs au point d'échange Internet du Cameroun. On a eu 2 visioconférences avec les experts de la CA pour commencer à discuter de cette plateforme africaine. Cependant, mesdames et messieurs, il est important de relever que la crise de la COVID-19 est venue révéler les forces et les faiblesses des États en matière de digital readiness. Pour ce qui est des États africains, elle nous invite donc plus que jamais à renforcer nos politiques en matière de promotion et de vulgarisation des TIC, de protection des données à caractère sensible et en matière de densification et de renforcement de nos infrastructures critiques pour la protection de notre cyberespace. La question de la sécurité, de la robustesse des applications et des plateformes numériques vis-à-vis d'entités commerciales ou publiques susceptibles d'utiliser les données récoltées est majeure. La création donc d'une application COVID-19 de contrôle de l'épidémie et des mouvements sur l'ensemble des populations africaines va créer un fichier personnel extrêmement détaillé sur la vie privée des citoyens, habitudes, lieux de résidence, etc. Si ces données ne sont pas gérées par une institution robuste du point de vue des procédures et de la sécurité technologique, avec un niveau important de chiffrement, alors il existe un réel risque que ces données soient captées par des intérêts externes pour des usages détournés commerciaux ou autres. En même temps que nous nous réjouissons de cette initiative, de même, nous appelons à une collaboration forte dans la gouvernance des données collectées à travers cette plateforme. Et c'est un grand plaisir que j'annonce au nom du gouvernement camerounais la volonté du Cameroun de participer à ce grand rendez-vous continental, d'où la prescription par le Premier ministre chef du gouvernement du Cameroun aux parties prenantes de s'assurer que toutes les diligences incombant au Cameroun en vue de la mise en œuvre de la plateforme africaine de lutte contre la COVID-19 sont accomplies dans les délais impartis. Et à la suite de ces recommandations, le ministère des Postes et Télécommunications du Cameroun s'engage ainsi à accompagner la mise à contribution des services de télécommunications afin de faciliter l'accès à des informations essentielles, la communication et les réponses ciblées pour la création de cette plateforme. Nous sommes avec vous et je vous remercie de votre bienveillante attention.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your comments. I would like to invite Mr. Mustafa Maima Diaby, the Minister of Post Telecommunications and Digital Economy of Guinea, to say a few words here as well, and to also share with us your reaction to the platform itself and how you feel the data set and the data assets could be leveraged through digital applications and innovations, for example, in developing new digital products and services, as Dr. Songwe and some of our other speakers have mentioned. So I'm hoping that we have established contact with Minister Diaby to say a few words. Please, you have the floor. believe we're trying to establish that that contact with Minister Diaby. Well, as we stand by for Minister Diaby or one of our other guests to essentially give us some of their reaction to this platform, I would probably just want to also let our audience know that the rollout of phase 1 is going to cover mobile users across more than 23 countries, and that represents more than 80% of Africa's total mobile subscribers. So the other piece to this that is an interesting element to note is that users will also be able to access through this platform some of the local health advisories and medical advice, including a symptom checker. I see a lot of questions here in the chat about ownership and data and the anonymity of it. And I just want to clarify here that the user inputs are actually going to be anonymized when they're being analyzed. The survey responses that will go out on the USSD platform will be fed to an artificial intelligence driven system, and the integrator will be able to analyze the data that comes through to give us those actionable insights for national and regional level policymakers. All right, so I really would like to get to one of our other guests here. I know we have many, and I understand from our technical team that we are efforting both Minister Diaby and Dr. John Ngengasong, the Director of CDC Africa, who is with us. So I'll just give them a moment here to establish connection. Mr. Diaby? All right, it appears we're having a few technical difficulties here, and we beg your patience here with this. We're talking about an Africa Communication Intelligence Platform,
Madam Zane,
which is very exciting, and we're just trying to get this set up. Dr. John Ngengasong, is that you?
No, this is the IT technician. Both Mr. John and Mr. Diaby, they are not responding to our request.
Okay, so right. Well, perhaps could we be directed to whoever is next in the queue to offer some remarks as if they are not responding? Because I can continue, but I'm sure people want to hear more from our guests than from me. So I would request Dr. Vera Songwe, perhaps you can jump in here and tell us a little bit about what drove you to create this platform.
We have Dr. Amedine, whose hand is up, and Dr. Césaire Fossin. But I think what drove me, I'm on the call. John is on the call. John just sent me a text message saying he's on the call. John, can you speak if you're on the call? Can you hear us?
Yeah, we will get him.
I think let's get John. I'm trying to understand, and we also have the director of ITU, Mr. Zhao, who is also there and will want to speak. But I really think what got us to design this platform is simple, and as I said at the beginning, and Rob is also is really, we wanted to see how we could reach people quickly. We wanted to see, oh, there's John. We wanted to see how we could reach people quickly. We wanted to ensure that, with this crisis, no one was left behind. The fastest way to make sure that we could do that, as we have been celebrating on the continent for a very long time, is to use mobile devices. But then we quickly realized that not everybody has internet access, and so you needed to do something different. So we called together the ECA Digital Center of Excellence, Rob Schutner, and all of the ICT technological team, And they were able to come up with this platform. And then I think more importantly, as you said, Zain, put it together with artificial intelligence. So we can actually, follow, and this is Sprinkler and others. And we hope that the young Africans out there can build more artificial intelligence platforms using this database, create jobs and help us do more. But really it was then to see how we can, I think the beauty of this platform is the two-way interaction. We can send messages, we can receive messages. So you can actually get a sense of what's going on. It will probably also help us a lot on the governance side. As we raise resources for our countries, we want to make sure that the resources go to the people that need them the most. And so if somebody were hungry in some part of Africa, we could hopefully, with this platform, be able to identify what zone, food prices are going up in, inflation is rising, and then take action in that area. So that really was the exciting part about this, was to say we need to reach everybody and we need to get on-time information and data. Thank you.
I see, thank you, Dr. Songwe. I see Dr. John Ngeka Song is here. John, you can hear me, yes?
I can hear you very well.
Oh, hooray. Wonderful,
can you hear me?
Wonderful to have you. Nice to see you. Great to see you. Thank you so much for being with us. John, how would you at the CDC leverage a special platform like this? How would you engage various national health systems to use the two-way communication provided in this platform? How would it be most useful to you?
No, thank you. I mean, out of respect of that note, there are many speakers. Let me first of all thank Dr. Vera Songwe for this and yourself for this great innovation. From a strictly public health standpoint, this platform offers three great possibilities that probably will be a game changer and transformational in the way we can practice public health on the continent. As a CDC, the basic underpinning of a CDC is surveillance, which is information for action. And we see this in three different areas. That this is a unique opportunity to change the way we conduct disease surveillance and, more importantly, intelligence. I mean, what we are dealing with today is extraordinary. We should always remember that this will not be the last time we are challenged with this kind of diseases or pandemics, and that disease intelligence is all based on ability to acquire good data in a timely fashion, be able to store that data and use the data in a way that you can respond to. The second thing is in the area of mortality surveillance. Africa has come to get to the point where, can you still hear me?
Yes.
Good.
Yes,
we are at the point where mortality surveillance is very weak on the continent. Even with the COVID we are dealing with, our data on mortality surveillance is very limited. And it doesn't give us the true picture of what we are dealing with here. So with this platform, I see an opportunity where we can begin to count all Africans and make all Africans count. And it's very important if we have to really sharpen our public health practice. Lastly, I believe this is the nexus between universal health coverage that we've always wanted to see happen and the health security at different levels, at the national level, sub-national level, and the regional level, which if we have to drive it to the community level. So I think this is what it represents truly from a public health standpoint, and I look forward to continuous engagement of Africa CDC as we scale up this technology. Thank you.
Thank you so much. John, if I could just ask you one quick follow-up as we establish contact with our next guest. I mean, how would it be most useful for you leveraging this platform in the different stages of COVID responses? How would you prioritize the way you would use this and the way you would want to see countries deploy it that helps Africa CDC?
You know, that's a very good question. I mean, I was reflecting yesterday about what this platform is all about, and there's one quotation that came to mind. That is, the time is always right to do the right thing, and it couldn't have been the best moment for us to have this platform. I mean, the way this technology can actually change the way we do, we fight the battle against COVID-19 is the regional networks. I mean, as a continent, we cannot sit in Addis Ababa and reach across the entire continent, but with regionalizing this technology through the regional collaborating centers and then feeding them with and connecting them with the national governments is the way to go if we really have to be successful in the fight against COVID. We should always remember that our battle against COVID will be long. I mean, we are just at the beginning of this, and it requires such technologies for us to have a chance to fight this very important battle.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate that, John, and thank you for all the hard work that you're doing on behalf of the continent and for staying there on the front lines. We appreciate it. We appreciate your thoughts. I would like to invite Mr. Rob Shooter, the CEO of MTN, to join us in this conversation. As we try establish contact with him, I understand we have Dr. Ahmadine on the line, Minister of State for ICT Ethiopia, who is on the line with us. So I don't see you, but I hope you can hear me and see me. Dr. Ahmadine? Right. Well, as we establish contact with Dr. Ahmadine, Vera Songwe, perhaps I could just continue our conversation and ask you, what is it that you think is the most unique aspect about this platform when you compare it to other digital initiatives that have been developed around the world? Dr. Songwe is, I'm not able to hear you. All right, so we have quite a number of guests here online. We are waiting for their audio and their video to be established here. And Dr. Songwe is with us, and but we can see you, but we cannot hear you. However, we do see and hear Rob Shooter. Hooray, Rob. Lovely to see you. Thank you so much for your patience. And listen, congratulations for this fantastic achievement. MTN has been at the forefront of developing this, of designing this, deploying it, leading the way for the rest of the telcos. So I just want to acknowledge that. And express our great appreciation and respect for what MTN has done here. Perhaps I can ask you, Rob Shooter, what you think the most this platform compared to some of the other COVID digital initiatives that have been developed around the world.
Well, thanks very much for having me at the event, and also welcome from my side to all the excellencies who joined today. It's been quite a journey. Are you hearing me okay? I get a little bit of feedback.
We're good. We can hear you. We'll push through the feedback and mute it as best we can.
Yeah, well, you know, I remember very well. It was the 30th of March in the morning that I had my first call with Vera and Tunde, and we were discussing. You know, it seems so long ago, but it wasn't really long ago. But I remember we agreed that, you know, the next few months was a time that we really needed to prepare as Africa, and not look back afterwards and say that we didn't do all the things that needed to be done. And, you know, we've been very, very, you know, pleased and proud as MTN to be part of this initiative. You know, our continent of Africa, you know, has many challenges. But one of the best ways to be in touch with our people is to use the mobile telephone networks. And as we've been saying all along, you know, many people don't have the luxury of smartphones and data connections. And I think we very early on worked out that it would help a lot if we could leverage the USSD, SMS, what we call the narrowband connections for this. And it's been fantastic working with the ECA Digital Center of Excellence It's been very much a team effort. Very early on, we reached out to our competitors, and we agreed that this was an area for collaboration and cooperation. And Airtel, Vodacom, Orange really mobilized very quickly. If you want to use these USSD narrowband channels, you really need to do it collaboratively across all the networks. And the second thing that that Vera has been so helpful with is also to engage our ministers, our regulators, who often are allocating these these USSD codes that we need. So from an idea at the start of April to be able.
Oh no, looks like we have lost Rob Shooter, and was really enjoying what he had to say there. I also want him to actually walk us through the user experience of this platform. Rob Shooter, we will try to establish a connection with you again. Apologies to the audience for this, and thank you for being so cool and just understanding that this is a reality that we're all grappling with as we do home-based live events. Vera, if you can hear me and see me, and if we can hear you, perhaps you could pick up that story. The 30th of March, you guys had this phone call, and here we are today. Okay, so we do not seem to be able to hear Vera. The only person we seem to be able to hear is me. I promise you I did not fix it that way. Although, I have a large microphone here. I like to use, make sure that I'm heard. So this is, unfortunate that we're having these challenges, but we appreciate again your patience. And Rob, Rob Shooter, you were telling us, walking us through the moments from March 30th when you had this phone call, and to where we are today, and the very unique collaboration between various telecommunications companies to fight COVID-19. I saw you in a flash there, but then you disappeared. So there you are again. So don't go now, Rob. Okay. We know the USSD platform is more stable here, and so you were talking about that actually, and I was hoping that you could perhaps walk our audience through what the user would experience when they get the platform that you've designed and that is going to be rolled out in multiple countries.
Yeah, thanks very much, and I promise I don't keep dashing out of the room. It's also disappearance. Yeah, so I think the real insight, as I was saying, was to leverage as much as possible USSD, and for those of us that were lucky enough to move on to smartphones, many years ago, it's a technology we sometimes forget how it works. But it allows you to present a very simple menu to the users, and that will enable us to collect very important information that policy makers, governments, health authorities can use to identify where are the hotspots, where are the issues. The other benefit is, as operators, we can waive the charges for USSD, or what we call zero rate the service. Because if you think about someone in a rural area who's really in a very difficult state because of what's happening with COVID, may well at that point not have airtime. They may not have been able to recharge.
Right.
And so they would be presented with a USSD menu. It can establish how things are with them. Are they safe? How many family members are there? Are they in need of care? We can use it for symptoms. And it can over time be used not only to draw information out, but also to communicate information. I think one of the
Mactar. Yeah. Je crois qu'on doit vérifier les présidents. On doit vérifier les présidents.
Go on, keep going, Rob.
Okay, I'll soldier on. I think all hats off to the ECA Digital Center of Excellence, because they really brought in the artificial intelligence angle, that that they found a partner that then could ingest all of this information. Because it's really once you've worked with the basic information that you get insights that are useful to manage the pandemic. And also to combine the platform with online digital data, which will give much richer information. So it will enable to see emerging virus hotspots, to direct medical resources to those areas, and covers, as we've said, 600 million people with a very accessible technology. It's not a discriminatory technology because it can be used on any handset, on any device. And I think it really fits with certainly MTN vision that, no one should be left behind, that the way to tackle these big problems is through partnership and collaboration. It needs partnership between the private sector, the public sector. And, we're just super happy to have been able to assist, and looking forward to taking it from strength to strength.
And Rob, just for our audience here, when the platform is rolled out in a country, an individual will receive it on their feature phone, take the survey that MTN and others have designed, and press according to the questions that are being prompted. That data then comes to MTN, to Orange, to Vodacom, and Airtel, and then is ingested in a big system that is analyzed. And at that moment, we can see COVID clusters or places of economic need. Is that correct? If you could just help explain the flow a little bit and the kind of support you need to make this a success from countries and from other entities.
Yeah, I think it is largely as you describe it. USSD menus are normally customized by individual operators. So think of a customer that is going to recharge with some airtime. That menu might have different options depending on whether you're on a Vodacom or an Airtel or an Orange network. So part of what we've needed to do here is to standardize that across all of the operators. That'll be much easier for customers. Be able to very quickly, complete on the USSD, just a very short survey. That information flows to the operators. It's secured. Customers' information is secured. Privacy is secured, and can be ingested into the platform in an anonymized way. And it is that aggregated information then would allow you to, put it on, for example, a regional map or a national map. And very quickly, organizations like the WHO, like the health organizations in the markets would be able to see, where are the areas where, help is required, where an intervention is required. What we see with COVID, I think, across all the markets is that we don't really have the resources to deploy across, an entire country. And so what this will assist with, I think, is to help target our scarce resources and interventions, as a society to where they are really, really needed.
I just would like to let our guests know that the President of Congo will be joining us shortly. He's just dialing in and getting set up, Rob. If I may just follow up with one other question here. How do you see the telecom operators actually coordinating or playing an additional facilitating role for innovative mobile-enabled services, particularly involving tech hubs and startups?
Yeah, I think from an industry perspective, you know, a lot has been done already. You know, I see across many of the markets, operators, for example, zero rating educational material for people working from home. MTN has been raising on the mobile money platform important. I think to your question is more around innovation around the ecosystem.
Yes.
And I think that you know that really, I guess, will come as a second step, because this particular initiative that we've all been working on is to build, you know, a communication infrastructure that allows information to flow in two directions across all networks and across all devices. Once it's up and running, and we really are so hopeful that, you know, citizens and governments will adopt it, then I think the opportunities will arise for innovation around the platform. And we all know that you know, Africa is very fast to innovate when the need is there. So we're really looking forward to seeing some of that in the future as well.
Rob Shuter, thank you very much. Just stay with us as I request Dr. Songwe to introduce the president of Congo, who is not. Well,
he needs another 10 minutes. So I was wondering if we can get the head of ITU, the DG of ITU, Mr. Zhao, who is with us and has been instrumental in helping us bring this platform together. But not only that, I think, Rob, you would agree with me, helping us get the regulators on board. We need the ITU policy wonks to help us. And really, himself and Mr. Rujeje have been really, I think that what we see there is the Democratic Republic of Congo setting up for the president, but he's not ready yet. I'm being told that he will be with us in 10 minutes. So I was thinking that maybe Mr. Zhao can give us a sense, a little bit, of the regulatory environment and the work that we've been doing with them. Can we get him on the screen? And Rob, you can begin to tell us what you need from the regulators still. I know that I'm whipping them up, but you know better.
Yes, I'm happy to, you know, while we wait for the SG. No, I think this has actually been, you know, such a heartwarming experience, because this is an example of a case where existing technologies can be leveraged very quickly. I think everybody, you know, really warmed very quickly to the idea, and our honorable ministers and our regulators across the markets have been very engaged. You know, really what we needed is USSD short codes to be allocated. So ideally you then have one code per country, or ideally one code for the continent. So that very much sits with the regulatory bodies, and they've been very responsive on that. And of course, you know, where operators are collaborating in a public, you know, good project like this, it's always, you know, good to have the ministers, the telecommunications, communication ministers involved. I mean, this is the sector that they're you know, responsible for, and the finance ministers also. And Vera's been very helpful. You know, the finance ministers are often the ones with the checkbooks, so it's always good to get them aligned early on. And I think we're really in a good space to move forward.
What is your biggest challenge going forward?
I think our challenge now is really adoption. We need to get it, you know, launched across the markets. We need to get the authorities in the country to obviously, you know, see the benefit and start to push the surveys out. And then we need the general public to respond. You know, like any ecosystem, it's got a few sides. And we've built, as I said, the enabling infrastructure. We really need adoption. And I think it would be so powerful if we can work on that and build that in the next few weeks. Because I think we are all concerned, as the colleague from WHO was saying earlier, we are concerned that we still have a big, you know, COVID infection curve coming across the continent. I was saying in a different forum that Africa has about 70% of the world's population, but we only have about 2% of the COVID infections. So it does seem that our adoption curve is still ahead of us. And it would be fantastic if we could get the platform adopted and used now in the next few weeks, so it's there when we need it.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Rob, for articulating that, something very important. And we can get into the modalities of adoption and how we see that unfolding. In the meantime, I realize that we are waiting for the President of Congo to speak, as well as the SG for ITU is online. The technical aspect of our current conversation is slightly challenging because we can only have a number of people on at once, right? So we can't, it's not Zoom, that we can't bounce around as easily. So apologies for that. And I have been observing the chat, you know, and I just want to acknowledge that quite a number of ministers are here waiting to intervene. We just wanted to recognize that that's the case, and we would definitely like you to participate. It's just we have to get rid of someone to bring you in, and so that's kind of the balancing act that we're doing here. So thank you for your patience, and actually all the commentary that we're seeing here on in the chat room is actually, you know, quite interesting. Dr. Songwe. Dalal is saying we need to engage with civil society organizations who are sitting on a series of data sets as well on the informal sector. What are your thoughts on that?
No, I think thank you very much for that question, because really this platform is also for civil society. I think that when we met, we had a webinar with a large proportion of the population on the continent, including civil society. And one of the things civil society wanted to know was who was listening to them and how do they talk back to policymakers. So really, I think that part of this platform is I'm telling my IT people to drop Congo from the screen and put ITU. Congo is not ready, and they will not be ready for 10 minutes. So we can drop Congo if you need the online permission. Yes, thank you very much. Now you can bring ITU. So I think what we were trying to do was really to, you know, we talked with people in Kibera who were saying, you know, right, government has announced all these subsidies, you know, how do we know we're going to get them? And government believes they're getting them because I think the government announces the subsidies essentially to, you know, support members of the community that need that help. But we need to know now that it gets to them. And I think what this platform is going to be able to do is hopefully work with civil society to be able to get information back and forth. Because since civil society also has telephones and they can speak back, they can tell us, come to this community, go to that community, this is what is happening. We're going to work with governments to design the questionnaires, of course. So hopefully we can ask questions that are pertinent for governments. We as a think tank will ask questions around, again, like I said, pricing. We want to know what's happening with pricing because it's an important element. We will be looking at issues around food scarcity, where we're getting food scarcity, where we're seeing it. Yes, we do have a COVID crisis, but there are other health crises that are going on. We need to understand whether maternal care continues in different districts of different countries. So if people begin to see that there is a sort of, you know, fall in the drop of services that are being provided for maternal and child care, probably this platform will be able to come back and forth with that. Civil society will be able to come in. So this really is the beauty of the platform, is that we can identify and mitigate other problems before they come on board and see how they go.
As we work on establishing continued connections here, Dr. Songwe, I just want to also add someone from the chat room here is quite appreciative of the platform effort here. And also,
this is the boss of ITU, so when he joined and then the system started exploding, you know that the boss of ITU has showed up. So thank you and welcome very much, DG. Can you hear us? Can you hear us?
Mr. Hulen Zhao, you can hear us all right? We're very
yes,
happy
I can hear. Can you hear me?
Oh, fantastic. Yes. Hooray, we can hear you. We're thrilled to have you join us. And
that's great.
Thank you for all the great work that you've done in facilitating this and getting us to the stage. As Vera was saying, I wonder if you could give us a sense from your point of view, first of all, of your thoughts on this platform.
Yeah. Thank you, Madam Moderator, and my dear sister Vera. Thank you very much for your attention to my presence. I'm very pleased to join you today. And let me just first congratulate you and all partners on the creation of this platform. Pleased to affirm that we are very honored to be invited by you to join this platform as a member of the board. So we will try our best. At ITU, we take our commitment to health very seriously. It is an important component of our multi-stakeholder response to COVID-19. We joined the WHO UNICEF recently to launch short messages through mobile phones to many people in the Southeast Asia regions. I just heard from Robert, MTA. I also had talked with him recently, and he told me that in South Africa, that they may not be able to reach everywhere by broadband connection, but they use television channels to distribute the messages as well, so that all these means of communications could be used to help us to connect the people. So we have been working in cooperation with WHO's regional office for Africa to raise awareness among governments about how to use mobile and digital communication networks to better respond to the pandemic. We are also scaling up projects that can improve the resilience of populations and communities, particularly vulnerable to COVID-19. For example, through the Smart Villages project in Niger, a free voice service for COVID-19 prevention has been implemented in different local languages. So we have taken a lot of initiatives with our partners. In the health and economic fight against the COVID-19, a close collaboration between the health and ICT industries is more important than ever. This is the message I took to the G20 Health and Digital Minister Roundtable meetings separately during their respective recent extraordinary meetings. In its agenda for action for faster and better recovery, the Broadband Commission for Sustainable Development, our Executive Secretary Vera is one of the members of the Commission committees, convened jointly by ITU and UNESCO, has called for leveraging connectivity, broadcasting networks, broadband networks, as well as digital platforms to support health, as well as the use of AI for COVID-19 prevention and monitoring, and to support medical institutions. Joint Digital Development Action Plan and Call for Actions on COVID-19 Crisis Response, agreed by the World Bank, ITU, GSMA, and World Economic Forum, has noted the importance of leveraging telemedicine, digital services, and apps to foster e-health and support the healthcare systems. So I'm very proud of that. According to the information submitted to our REG for COVID platform, set up for governments to share their digital policies employed to respond to COVID-19, quite a number of governments and industry players already heeded to such calls. So today I'm calling on Africa regulators and ICT ministers to back this new platform for health and economic action. Regulatory approval is essential. The support of telecommunication regulators from each country is absolutely needed. So in this effort, we cannot leave anyone behind. And for that, we cannot continue business as usual, as before. So ladies and gentlemen, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and big data are at the heart of the platform we are launching today. Emerging technologies such as AI, cloud computing, 5G, and many others are powerful tools to tackle Africa's most pressing challenges, including COVID-19. I was very pleased that UNECA, and the leadership of Vera, invited ITU and UNIDO to work on several projects on the continent, including 5G. So ITU is committed to working with UNECA to build a vibrant digital Africa. With initiatives like One Africa Network, Africa has shown that it can lead the way. And with ITU's next World Telecommunication Development Conference taking place on Africa next year, we have a very good opportunity to speed up the development of digital society on the continent. So let me close my short remarks. I know that you are fighting against the time. So I wish the Africa Communication and Information Platform for Health and Economic Action great success. So may ITU and Africa countries continue to leverage ICTs to help defeat COVID-19. And may we continue to work together to make the Africa continent safer, stronger, and more connected. So I'd like to close my short remarks. Let me once more again wish you great success. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Zhao. Dr. Songwe, did you want to add something?
I just wanted to acknowledge my brother's presence. I think it's a one UN effort, and we're very happy that we can work together on this. Thank you so much.
Mr. Zhao, since we have you, I wanted to ask two brief questions. What immediate action from a regulatory standpoint do you wish to see on the continent? And secondly, how would you like to see national governments collaborate more effectively with mobile network operators?
Yeah, indeed. The regulatory agencies are very important for our success. If you look at the recent history, over the last decade, the world suffered a lot of crises, including financial crisis, while ICT is still going quite well, relatively well. And we did not really see that kind of crisis. I always said that it's partly because we have very good system for regulatory agencies everywhere in the world. They help us to create a good environment for the competition, for openness, but also create a good environment for investment, to encourage investment. So their work is really key for our success. Now, during this COVID-19, I noted that a lot of operators worked very hard with their traffic has increased, doubled, tripled, with very heavy operational pressures, but still they managed to work very well. But however, they also needed some additional spectrum to open the new services to cope with COVID-19. And then this kind of thing cannot be done without from our regulatory agencies. And then we note that also many mobile operators now we try to get 4G, 5G services in Africa continent. They also want to get favorite conditions for their investment. And here, I also like to encourage our operator to work closely with our regulators. And the regulators should also listen to the operators' opinions and try to work with them to create a good environment, in particular to support those Africa-based operators, Africa-invested operators to have good business opportunities in Africa continent. And of course, we also have very big challenges about the limited spectrum. And then many industries want to have this one, that the operators will play a very important role to, to balance the national interest and industry interest, market interest, so that for me, the regulators are absolutely critical for our success. But on the other hand, I really want to take this opportunity to highly appreciate our Africa regulators for their wonderful work over the last 2 decades. And that, if I give you a short story, that 2004, when I was meeting our Africa ministers in Cairo, and the Africa ministers come together to announce their ambitious target to have telephone penetrations changed from 2% to 10% by the end of 2010. But today, it's almost 90%. And then mobile telephones is quite popular in many places.
Yeah.
So this, I think that is also, we would really appreciate the regulators, hard work. And of course, our operators, invest a lot. According to Robert, he told me that in the mobile industry, in mobile market, 90% or even more are invested by private sector. So we really have to, to encourage them to invest more, and we have to help them to get a good environment for investment.
Thank you. Mr. Hulin Zhao, Secretary General of ITU, greatly appreciate your thoughts and your support. Thank you so much for joining us. I'd like to invite Dr. Songwe now to say a few words and introduce the President of Congo.
Son Excellence, Monsieur le Président de la République du Congo, je vous remercie pour votre présence avec nous. Je crois que nous vous voyons, vous nous attendez, Son Excellence, Monsieur le Président.
Oui, je vous entends, oui.
Bonjour, bonjour, Son Excellence, bon après-midi à tous. Je crois que vous avez aujourd'hui avec vous une grande partie de la population africaine qui vous écoute. Nous sommes en train aujourd'hui de lancer un programme inédit sur le continent, un programme qui va permettre de connecter avec les citoyens. Je crois que nous pourrons, sur cette plateforme, connecter avec à peu près 714 millions d'Africains pour avoir des questions sur l'économie, sur la santé. C'est un très grand plaisir, c'est un honneur pour les Nations Unies de vous avoir avec nous aujourd'hui. Évidemment, ce n'est pas un hasard que nous avons aujourd'hui, Son Excellence, Monsieur le Président. Vous êtes un champion de l'économie digitale. Vous êtes l'un des pays qui a passé les plus de règles sur le management de données, la performance, l'Internet. Donc, je pense que nous avons vraiment tenu aux Nations Unies et surtout et particulièrement à la Commission économique pour l'Afrique de vous avoir avec nous aujourd'hui comme champion pour dérouler cette initiative et sans plus tarder. Votre ministre, je ne manquerai pas de le dire, tous vos ministres d'ailleurs, le ministre de l'économie, le ministre des télécommunications, le ministre d'infrastructure, je crois que nous travaillons inlassablement pour voir ce jour arriver à sa fin et nous sommes vraiment contents de vous avoir. Monsieur le Président, je vous passe la parole.
Excellences, Messieurs les chefs d'État, Mesdames et Messieurs les ministres, Monsieur le Président de la Commission de l'Union africaine, Madame la secrétaire exécutive de la Commission économique des Nations Unies pour l'Afrique, distingués invités, Mesdames et Messieurs, le monde traverse une grave crise sanitaire avec des conséquences inédites sur les économies et les systèmes de santé de nos différents pays. En soutien à nos stratégies de riposte à la pandémie de COVID-19, la Commission économique des Nations Unies pour l'Afrique intervient pour donner un contenu plus pertinent à la communication et à l'information pour la santé et l'action économique en Afrique. Je salue la présente initiative en faveur de cette plateforme et j'adresse mes chaleureux remerciements aux éminentes personnalités et aux experts qui prennent part au lancement de cet instrument d'aide à la décision dans le cadre de la lutte contre les conséquences sanitaires et économiques du coronavirus. En retenant le secteur des télécommunications et de l'économie numérique comme axe majeur de son action, la CERA met à la disposition de nos États des instruments pertinents pour briser la chaîne de contamination à la pandémie de Covid-19. Le lancement aujourd'hui du Centre d'excellence numérique répond à la demande formulée par les États membres d'aider à la collecte et au traitement des données essentielles en vue de réagir efficacement à la pandémie de Covid-19. L'engagement de la CEA nous fait espérer que, dans le contexte marqué par la crise sanitaire actuelle, elle saura tracer le sillon devant permettre à la communauté internationale de relever les défis socio-économiques en présence. Mon pays, le Congo, se réjouit d'avoir été choisi par la Commission économique pour l'Afrique pour parrainer le lancement officiel de la plateforme africaine de communication et d'information pour la santé et l'action économique. C'est l'occasion de rappeler que le Congo a adopté un important arsenal juridique en vue de garantir le fonctionnement adéquat des systèmes d'information, protéger les libertés individuelles dans l'espace numérique et réprimer les infractions irrelatives. À ce sujet, le Parlement de mon pays, actuellement en session, examine le projet de loi sur la Convention de l'Union africaine sur la cybersécurité et la protection des données à caractère personnel. Notre riposte à cette crise sanitaire repose également sur l'appui dont le Congo bénéficie de la part de ses partenaires. C'est ici le lieu de se féliciter de la qualité de coopération fructueuse avec les agences du système des Nations Unies. En souhaitant le plus grand succès à ce mécanisme, je déclare mise officiellement en service la plateforme africaine de communication et d'information pour la santé et l'action économique. Je vous remercie.
Je vous remercie énormément, Son Excellence, Monsieur le Président. Nous sommes aussi joints, évidemment, par Son Excellence le professeur Alpha Condé, président de la Guinée. Aussi, évidemment, la Guinée est aujourd'hui le siège de Smart Africa. Nous avons entendu Monsieur Lassina Koné au début de cette allocution nous dire comment l'importance de cette plateforme, mais aussi l'importance de Smart Africa pour pouvoir ramener les 36 pays ensemble pour pouvoir travailler. Son Excellence, Monsieur le Président Sassou, je pense que avec votre parrainage, aujourd'hui, nous avons 36 pays sur la plateforme. Nous espérons qu'entre vous, en train de parrainer, et le président de Smart Africa, le professeur Alpha Condé, nous pouvons avoir tous les pays sur le continent, mais surtout que vous soyez les champions. Les jeunes demandent une pénétration plus importante du broadband, un accès plus important de l'Internet et des prix abordables. Je pense que nous travaillons aussi sur la réduction des coûts de transfert des données. Nous pouvons compter sur vous, Excellence, Monsieur le Président, pour peut-être ramener ces politiques au niveau de l'Union africaine pour adopter une politique beaucoup plus facile pour nos jeunes innovateurs qui ne demandent que d'innover. Et cette innovation aujourd'hui de cette plateforme, je pense, vous montre l'ampleur et l'étendue de l'innovation de l'Afrique. Et nous espérons, avec vous comme champion, que nous pouvons faire plus, mieux et plus vite. Je vous passe la parole, Son Excellence le professeur Condé.
Messieurs les chefs d'État, chers collègues, Monsieur le Président de la Commission de l'Union africaine, Madame la secrétaire exécutive de la Commission économique africaine, Mesdames et Messieurs les ministres, c'est avec un très grand plaisir que je participe à ce débat. Je dois d'abord vous féliciter d'avoir organisé cette rencontre virtuelle. L'Afrique, pour des raisons indépendantes de sa volonté, n'a pas été au rendez-vous des 3 premières révolutions. Il est extrêmement important que nous soyons au rendez-vous de la 4e révolution industrielle, qui a comme base de nouvelles technologies. Comme a dit le président Sassou, le monde est confronté aujourd'hui à cette grave pandémie. Mais tout en luttant contre cette pandémie en Afrique, parce qu'il faut voir que nous ne sommes pas dans la même situation que l'Europe ou les États-Unis. Car bien que cette maladie touche nos peuples de façon dure, le taux de mortalité chez nous est très faible. Nous, sur 5000 cas, nous avons seulement, malheureusement, 26 décès, mais nous avons plus de 3800 personnes guéries. Donc, il est extrêmement important pour nous de combattre cette maladie, mais il est extrêmement important pour nous de veiller à notre économie. Parce que le danger le plus grave qui nous menace, c'est une crise économique qui peut aboutir sur une crise sociale qui peut entraîner la révolte des populations. Et nous savons qu'aujourd'hui, les jeunes Africains n'ont rien à envier à leurs collègues d'Europe ou des États-Unis en ce qui concerne la maîtrise des nouvelles technologies. Et nous voyons la création dans tous les pays de ces startups. Donc, il est extrêmement important que les États africains se donnent la main. D'abord, que nous échangions notre expérience diverse dans la lutte contre le coronavirus, parce que il est extrêmement important que nous nous informons les uns de l'autre. Par exemple, nous, en plus des médicaments qui sont proposés, nous avons nous-mêmes fait des essais cliniques de quinquina, parce que pendant la période coloniale, nous avons une usine de quinine. Donc, nous avons fait une expérience clinique sur les écorces de quinquina qui a été donné de bons résultats que nous donnons actuellement aux malades. C'est la même chose pour l'eucalyptus et dernièrement pour l'artémisia que nous avons en Guinée. Donc, nous sommes prêts à échanger notre expérience avec d'autres pays. Mais la communication est fondamentale. D'abord pour cette maladie, parce que beaucoup d'Africains, beaucoup de nos populations, parmi nos populations, il y a des gens qui pensent que cette maladie est une maladie des Blancs. Parce que c'est vrai que nous avons cette maladie nous vient de l'Europe, parce que c'est avec les passagers venant de l'Europe à Air France que nous avons été contaminés. Le premier cas, c'était une femme belge qui travaille à l'Union européenne. Mais ensuite, les 2 derniers vols d'Air France nous ont mis dans une situation extrêmement difficile parce qu'on a eu beaucoup de cas. Mais donc, il est extrêmement important que nous développions la communication au niveau des populations pour qu'ils comprennent et qu'ils prennent les mesures qu'il faut. Par exemple, nous avons non seulement décidé un dépistage systématique des citoyens, pas seulement des contacts, mais aussi l'obligation du port de masques. Et nous avons nous-mêmes fabriqué plus de 3 millions de masques que nous avons donnés gratuitement. Mais le plus important, c'est comment éviter que cette maladie n'entraîne une crise économique dans nos pays qui va aboutir à une crise sociale. Donc, nous sommes très heureux du lancement virtuel de cette plateforme africaine de communication et d'information. C'est la Guinée qui va organiser prochainement le sommet du Smart Africa. Donc, nous allons faire tous les efforts. Et avec le président Sassou, nous allons faire en sorte que les 50, tous les États membres, tous les chefs d'État, les États membres de l'Union africaine puissent participer à cette action. Et particulièrement, nous devons nous organiser pour aider les jeunes, parce qu'une enquête américaine a montré que les jeunes africains, aujourd'hui, sont plus intéressés à être leur propre patron, donc à créer des startups. Vous voyez donc l'importance. Je termine encore en disant que l'Afrique doit être au rendez-vous de la 4e révolution industrielle. Et c'est l'évolution qui va nous permettre de rattraper notre retard pour n'avoir pas pu être au rendez-vous des 3 premières révolutions. Donc la Guinée, je suis à votre disposition pour toutes les actions que vous souhaitez qu'on mène. Je vous félicite encore de cette heureuse initiative et je vous souhaite plein succès. Merci.
Merci beaucoup, Excellence. Je ne pourrais pas terminer sans remercier et vous informer vraiment que nous avons travaillé avec l'appui de MTN, Airtel, Vodafone, Orange et beaucoup d'autres fournisseurs de télécommunications sur le continent que j'aimerais remercier ici. C'était vraiment une collaboration entre le secteur privé, le secteur public, les Nations Unies, toute la famille, l'Union africaine évidemment, la Banque mondiale, pour vraiment voir ce que nous pouvons faire pour l'Afrique. Je pense qu'avec votre appui, les jeunes Africains à qui, il n'y a que la semaine passée, demandaient beaucoup plus d'accès, beaucoup plus d'innovation, vous ont écouté, vont compter sur vous, sur votre appui pour créer ces startups. Sur l'Afrique, nous sommes des innovateurs, nous sommes des innovatrices. Je crois qu'avec votre soutien, nous pouvons aller plus vite, plus loin. Et cette innovation nous montre une innovation sans précédent sur le continent qui amène à l'information intelligente. Comme disait le professeur Alpha Condé, la 3e et la première révolution industrielle que nous avons ratée. Nous sommes toujours en train d'utiliser les téléphones mobiles SSID. Nous devons tous utiliser des plateformes plus sophistiquées. Donc, je vous en prie. Et nous, une fois de plus, nous remercions le président, son Excellence le président Sassou Nguesso, pour votre parrainage de cette initiative. Nous compterons sur vous incessamment pour voir un peu, peut-être réfléchir sur les données et voir comment nous pouvons utiliser ces données à plus bon escient. Je vous remercie. Nous avons beaucoup de ministres, beaucoup de régulateurs sur cette vidéoconférence aujourd'hui qui n'ont pas pu parler. Je crois que vous avez écouté nos dirigeants, nos leaders qui nous disent qu'ils sont en train de nous soutenir, qu'ils vont nous soutenir. On va les prendre par leurs mots. Et on vous remercie une fois de plus, Monsieur le ministre des Finances, de Télécommunications et les régulateurs pour votre attention et évidemment à toute l'équipe, on vous remercie et on vous souhaite bonne journée et nous espérons que l'Afrique peut vraiment vaincre ce fléau du corona et surtout le fléau d'une économie un peu plus difficile dont nous vivons aujourd'hui. Je vous remercie. Over to you, Zane. I guess we'll close in English.
Thank you very much, everybody. Just want to echo Vera's sentiments. Thank you for your time and participation, and for your thoughts on this really important day. We're doing something very special for the continent. So congratulations to everybody that brought us to this point. And as President Alpha Condé is setting a good example for all of us, don't forget to wear your masks. Thank you very much and goodbye.